Hi, good afternoon. This is video log entry 172, and it's about 2 p.m. CST. Oh. Is any of the time? Oh, it is 12. Sorry. I don't even. Honestly, I don't know where I got 2 p.m. I thought I saw 1 earlier, but no. I've completely lost track of the time because I've been in my head again, as usual. That's not really too surprising for me. But yeah, as you can see, I actually got my Fitbit to start working again, so that means I can actually use it when I'm working out, doing high intensity interval training. I think don't know the exact BPM, but probably anything above 150 for a good 20 to 45 minutes. And also, I mean, there are things called steady state, and I'm sure you can do like fast walking for that, but I'm not sure if steady state is enough. But it's good for burning fat, but when it comes to maximizing your testosterone levels, I think HIIT is much better. High intensity interval training. I think I repeated that enough for anybody to even understand what I'm talking about when I say HIIT. But yeah, I don't know. I've been feeling damn good. I've been working out more. I'm supposed to work out again. I did some just cardio stuff, and I found a list of things using Perplexity to create some kind of regimen for my new workout routine for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm not sure if I'm going to do any intense stuff, but intense is aside from, like, what I mean is weightlifting isn't intense. I should have just said weightlifting, but I don't have weights here, and I don't have a gym to go to, so yeah, I mean, they have those outside. They have I think some parks actually have those workout stations and whatnot that I've seen close to the lakefront. But it's too cold for that. I mean, I'm sure you could probably it just seems silly. I don't know. I don't really have a good reason for it. I think what I have now is just fine. So I mean, I may resubscribe to like probably one of the cheaper gyms. Or resubscribe, I guess. Have a membership. Apply for a membership. Yeah, so I'm probably going to do that in the next month or so. Yeah, so I don't know. I've just been kind of in my head recently. I've been thinking about a lot of things pertaining to again, it seems like my thoughts have been more around relations with other people and how I want to approach them for the next 3/4 of my life, I guess, if I even make it for that long, depending on, you never know, I guess. So, yeah, I don't know. I've just been thinking a lot about that. And, I mean, I feel like in the past year or so, I've garnered so much self-respect to the point where I just kind of cut people out if they are not really serving me to any extent. I don't like having to be that kind of person, but I had to in a lot of my prior relationships pertaining to my ex-girlfriend. That I broke up with like 3 years ago or something like that. I don't remember the exact date. And then there was like this other person I had a situationship, which was very confusing, very goddamn confusing. So I had to put up some boundaries, I guess, and it was necessary. And I kind of processed those things. So when I had my break with them, and when I went through those things that I was processing, it felt more like a void. It was like there was no feelings left, so you could actually just kind of not really react. It was more like it was just an action that had to be taken without really thinking about it twice. That was actually something I've never really had to do before, but I'm glad I did it. I'm doing this for the sake of my own health because I saw them again just yesterday and the day before yesterday. And when you have a break from somebody and they're still acting the same, you can almost instantaneously tell that they haven't really done any kind of quote unquote inner work, or if they even had any motives to change at all. And they didn't, and that's fine. So I made the choice to block them and probably not talk to them ever again in my life, because there's no point, right? There's no point. And I could tell that there were still triggers, but just because, they're kind of like, in my mind, my memory, and it's hard to completely weed out those thoughts and reactions of because it brings you back to a place that you were however long ago. So it's best just not to interact with those kinds of stimuli. So unfortunately, I had to do that. I don't really have any regrets, honestly. I feel, last year I probably would have had some regrets. But I've made it to the state in which I've had enough space to the point where I just don't really feel anything. It's just like, yeah, whatever, I guess. Um, so aside from that, and aside from relationships, nothing else has really been going on. I put my bike on the Facebook Market, so I posted that and I have a helmet and a bike lock included with it, so I posted for $400. It's a felt Cafe 3, and it seems like to be it's in pretty good condition. It's 2013 though, and I don't know, you can still get it online, but the thing is, I didn't purchase that bike. I found it on the streets of the city or the neighborhood I live in, and I realized it was there for 2 hours unattended, so I just assumed they didn't want it for whatever reason. Or, I mean, it's kind of their fault for being irresponsible with their own objects, especially if they're that expensive, right? It's like, like what's it called? The actual price, the base price of this, if it's new, it would be around $569. And I'm essentially selling it for $350, close to about half the price. Well, not really, more like 3/4 of the price, but is that right? I don't know. So, what's 3/4 of $600? I don't know, something close to that. I don't know, whatever. It's more than half the price. Yeah, and I'm willing to go down to $300 with everything included if I have to, but we'll see. I'm just gonna let it sit in the marketplace for a few weeks here to see what. I'm pretty patient with waiting for the right person, so I don't need to sell it immediately either. And I have some shoes to get rid of, so I have to do that as well. I forgot to take pictures of it yesterday, but I'll do that today. And yeah, and I didn't call Dell. I don't really have. Again, I'm going to do that today because I told myself it's Sunday, and I just felt like relaxing because my head was not quite here, so it is what it is. Yeah. It's just, when you go back to old things, you get a lot of triggers from your past and, the past memories that you used to share with somebody, and you get into those, that state of rumination, and it becomes a cycle again, and it goes over and over and over again. And, yeah, so it's just, yeah, I mean, it's irreparable, honestly, because, again, I've already talked about it, and I feel like it's kind of personal as well. And anybody that just heard what I said before, it makes sense if you've ever gone through something like that. So, yeah. Yeah. So, I was looking at, standard, just random videos about, talking to, I feel like I'm in a healthy state again to put myself back in the market, even though, like, I think I'm going to give myself a little bit more time, but, I still want to at least go into the dating pool and see what's out there, and to kind of experiment and take it lightheartedly. I'm not going to take it that seriously because I don't think I'm really in the right space for me to be in a serious relationship. But it's good to test the waters at the very least to see what's out there and to see where you're at, because it's kind of hard to see where you're at when you're not really interacting with people as much as you'd like to, or women especially. Yeah, so we'll see. I would like to think that I'm relatively confident, but when it comes to cold approaching women, that's a different story. I have interactions here and there with women, but it was never for the sole intention to get their number. Now, I don't think that's really, it can be good depending on the person. I tend to be a very intuitive person, so I can tell if somebody would potentially be compatible with me, not just from like the physical side of it, but more of who they are and whatnot. So if I see somebody in public, I wouldn't mind at least trying to initiate that, but you kind of had to be in the right headspace for that, and not just being in the right headspace, actually kind of going down into your body and if you want to feel authentic at the very least, you kind of have to go down to your body. And I've been trying to, I guess meditation is really good at that, because you don't want to be up here when you're talking to somebody genuinely with specific intentions. You want your intentions to be clear and transparent. And I think women like that. I've practiced it a few times, and when I was straightforward with them, and if I told them they were attractive, or had a specific intention in mind, I wouldn't specifically verbalize all of it, but they could kind of see it on my face and my actual posture. But if you're nervous and you're in your head, you're hiding those intentions of yours without you necessarily realizing it, or maybe you are realizing it. But yeah, so it's just better. And I the only slight insecurity I have is that I have a childish face, but I don't know. I see women smiling. That's another thing, is like, I think about it, is like, when I'm walking out in public, are they smiling because I'm attractive, or is it because I just look like a child? It's like, this guy's like, it's like, cute in which way exactly? Is it like sexually attractive? It's kind of hard to tell, but who knows? I mean, I think, yeah. So it could be more of like a charming attractive as well, because when I sit in the train, I've ran into situations in which I've had prolonged eye contact with women, and they just, you can kind of just tell. If you're familiar with slight social cues, it's pretty obvious. So unfortunately, that situation, I couldn't really talk to them, because there were like two people on my left side, and they were right in front of the seat that she was sitting beside, which was open, but they were there. And I mean, maybe if I really wanted, I probably could have told them to move out of the way, and or at least just squeeze myself in there. And I just didn't, because I'm awkward at times, and I'm getting better at, kind of like maneuvering through spaces and being less awkward, but it's still there. And, that just requires, again, just putting yourself out there and being in the present moment, and not, being in your head. Right. So it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Yeah. A lot of practice. Which is why I want to socialize again more, as opposed to being on the internet all the goddamn time. But, yeah, guy things, right? Guy things. I don't have to be specific about it, but, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what else to talk about, really. I could, the thing is my brain, another thing that my brain does is that it likes to make itself believe that it's progressing through consuming information without necessarily applying it to the real world. So I do look at a lot of random YouTube videos about being more, quote unquote, masculine and confident. And again, like what I said, being confident, being in the present moment, and just trying to be generally open about things, because again, I think women do like that sense of confidence, and just being there and being self-assured. And I did mention masculinity being being self-aware and competent. And I think you can, just by being competent, you can be self-assured, right? Because you have a skill set that is seen as useful to the world. And sure, I mean, yeah, the hypertrophy can also go into like one skilled area. So I mean, when I say competent, I mean just generally competent, as opposed to being very specialized. And kind of cultivating your soft skills, as opposed to just having one hard skill and going to school and doing that one thing for years and years and years. Because I've known a lot of people who have trouble with relationships just because of the fact that they've only focused on school and not their soft skills, like socializing and just existing in the world, I guess. So, and they end up going into their 30s being completely unaware of how to talk to girls and whatnot. And I'm sort of one of those people, but I'm trying to pivot myself in the right direction. So it's not just going to be me specializing on one hard skill and not, and ignoring all of my other aspects or components. So, yeah. So, again, I'm not too sure of how to talk about this. It's just, it really is just practice and showing up and trying to be yourself, essentially, or trying your best to be yourself. Yeah. Pretty much. I think so. I don't know, maybe the thing is, like, I don't like talking about these things because obviously, you can just tell that I'm just trying to come up with a conclusion without me necessarily having the necessary data. So I am a bit naive in that realm because I've had a couple of girlfriends, like one in high school and then one after high school, and then a few situationships here and there, and that's pretty much it. So I mean, I just can't really say that I'm well practiced in that area or experienced. Um, but I like to be. I'm hoping I can do that this year a little bit. I don't think I want to. I tried Tinder for a while, and I got a few phone numbers, but I got ghosted every single time. So it seems like that doesn't really work out too well. And I didn't pay for the subscription to get, the what they call it, the Tinder Gold, so you can just swipe right as much as you like, and you can, or the other things that were added to it. I don't know, but I think you can get like a star to make you a priority or whatever, to make you more visible on there, and a couple other things. It just didn't seem like it was worth my money, and yeah, so I think it's better to go outside and just be yourself and find a community and hopefully practice. Just I think it's just treating women like anybody else. Aside from I mean, like, of course, like anybody else, isn't like you're always clear about your intentions when you're talking to somebody, right? So why would you hide your intentions when you're talking to a woman? You should be direct, just like anybody else, right? I mean, relationships are naturally transactional to begin with, so it's better just to be clear about it as opposed to being nervous and in your head and trying to strategize about how best to approach a situation. It's like, just be yourself and be honest about your intentions, I guess, is like the simplest tactic you can use without necessarily overthinking every single variable. Yeah, and I think I said that earlier, but whatever. I just keep going back, and I don't know. I didn't write it down either. Like, if maybe maybe if I get some practice this year, I will give a few updates. I think I talked about this earlier, and I was planning on doing that in 2024, but I was kind of busy with other things. I think I was coming up with excuses, really. Yeah, let's hope that 2025 is a little bit more fortunate, I guess. Yeah, so yeah. Anyways, I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to do the things I said I was going to do and just keep chugging along, I guess. Bye.